We will talk, at least you will say, I've told him, oh, this is what he's doing, I don't like to talk, or at least, you understand me?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you see someone who is behaving more than, or maybe, you understand me?
Mm.
You will not feel like doing it myself, but you have not talked to him. Say, this thing, you're supposed to do it this way, do it that way. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they say that the careful is better than the intelligent.
Mm.
So before you quit that
That's it.
relationship, you have to be wise. Because if you see somebody now and you is better than you, you haven't done the person better.
I'm listening.
You
I'm
just
following
wake up
you.
and quit the you just wake up and quit the relationship. Maybe you have not advised him for once.
Mm.
He's trying too hard. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my advice to verify it and talk to him. Listen it very well. That's my advice for her.
Thank you. Thank you
So
very much, Chichi.
yeah.
Okay, Chichi is saying that she doesn't think that jumping out of the relationship or leaving the relationship now is the best idea. Chichi is saying that this is somebody that you know well, somebody that you've been with for a while. It's just better to talk to him about the things that you think he's doing wrong. She's talking about the fact that this immaturity that Simi is starting to see might be because she's met somebody who is more, refined, maybe has more money or acts a different way as opposed to what she knows with this guy. So she's saying that you can teach him some of these things. You can teach him maturity. You can tell him the things specifically that you don't like, and then, encourage him, give him advice on how to work on those things. That's what Chichi's saying. Chichi's saying do that rather than leave the relationship. All right, please call back. Okay, so that's another very, very important point. We don't know the things that make Simi start to see him as immature. That's why the first thing I asked, apart from how long they've been dating, was you say you're starting to see him as immature. What does that really mean? What does that really mean? Is that an attitudinal thing, or is it like my friend's situation that you're now exposed in a different environment with people who are on a certain higher level when it comes to maturity, planning, the kind of life they envision for themselves. They have more ambition. They're literally actively working in the line of their dreams. So, is this what you mean by immaturity or by the fact that he's not mature? Or what exactly do you mean when you say that? Let us know. It's important that we know so that we can give you some really, really, really good advice. That he says, as far as the guy is not a bushman, he can teach him. Chichi is making a point. All right. Hello. Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening. Thank you. Comrade, how are you doing today?
Yeah, for some time now, I'm not getting. I don't know what is happening. Whether it's from my radio or doing it.
You changed location.
I'm not taking the picture. No, I can't even do. So, I don't know.
I don't know what's responsible for that, but thank you for that feedback. We'll see if we can work on it. If it's
Okay.
coming from us, we'll see if we can work on it. But if it's not, well, I think you can just keep trying it, okay?
Concerning this matter, because I used to say we are going to be answering what we hear. So I wanted to
Yes.
ask a question. There are some certain points where the guy is supposed to have answer, but actually, let us talk what we hear. So,
Mm-hmm.
number one, is relating myself in terms of finance, having terms of interaction, having terms of dressing, having terms of discussion, in this kind of within myself. You're supposed to
Mm.
tell us, now let us do, make this show with what we hear. Are you getting me?
Mm-hmm.
One, is the guy is not someone for off season, or if the guy is not a good man. I mean, you can learn, now. So you have to
Comrade,
learn and
you see that when I read your message, I didn't read that part. That part you just said, I didn't read it because you can't talk about autistic patients like that or people with autism. You can't do that.
okay, okay,
Yeah. So let's
okay,
let's
okay.
stick to Bushman.
Okay. So what I want to say now is that they can be able to discuss and they can tell him what he can do or the level he wants. When you say the start or even the thing I need to control his life is not what I mean. They can go out because you got this type of thing last year. They can go out for a party that they can go out
Comrade, that doesn't have anything to do with maturity now, does it?
You say, my friend is all of us. The devil of the devil of all the and they will grow and they become mature. It is a gradual process now. They can learn maturity now.
Hmm. Can you really learn maturity though?
There are some decisions that before I will tell my wife. So this is that I know myself. I'm learning from her. Let me go. So anybody can learn from anybody. Don't worry. Are you feeling what I'm saying?
I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you.
The maturity can be learned. Discipline can be learned by watching and by hearing. So you have to dialogue at that. Unless he doesn't have that boyfriend, I think it's wrong. Or peer pressure. And which can in future, you know, yes, when they tell us, make them find a person with them at all. One of them can always have to go right down for you. Because if it happens and you say, it's not a yeah, it's not bad. One of the things when they consider that, let's go back and marry this guy, this guy for back home. I will go back to this.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so the most important thing from what he said would be that you can learn maturity. So he's saying that maturity in this context could really mean anything. It could be, age, it could be finance, it could be exposure, it could be education, it could be discipline according to him. So he's saying it could be really anything. And if it's something that she doesn't like, that she can teach him to do better. She can teach him certain things that can, encourage him or nudge him in that line that she wants him to grow in, technically, or so to speak. She can give him, tutelage, just work him in line with where she wants him to be headed, particularly when it comes to this maturity context now. So he's saying that it can be learned. She can teach it, he can learn it. And if that's the case, that she should just go ahead and do that. Because some of these friends, and he mentioned peer pressure as well, which is what links to the friends now. He's saying that some of these friends are actually people that are giving her advice now, but could turn their backs to marry her boyfriend or go after her boyfriend when she has left him. So I think what he's trying to say is, on one hand, they'll advise you that, what, leave this guy. We don't think he's the best person for you. He's too young. He's not the right person for you, particularly if you want to get married early. Leave him, meet somebody who's older, more accomplished, and knows better, and all of that. And they will not turn their backs and then date this person after you've stepped out of the relationship. So he's saying to prevent that and to prevent any other issues within the relationship for now, you should teach him how to be more mature, how to address some of those areas that you have issues with. Okay, thank you very much for that, comrade. Interesting. So I still keep asking, can maturity be learned though? Can it really be learned? Can maturity really be learned? Now I understand that you could redirect somebody's mindset by just way of conversation. You can talk to them about certain things. You can open their eyes to see certain other points of view, other perspectives, other people's lives generally. You can, help them see what it is that they're not seeing, probably because they're being close minded or because they've had only a certain level of exposure. So some of these things you can teach. But does this influence maturity? I think it goes back to, what exactly does she mean by maturity? What does she mean when she says she's starting to see him as immature? What does that really mean? Okay, 5 minutes past the hour. Excuse me, 5 minutes past hour 10 on your women radio WFM 91.7. And of course, this is Adult Conversations, where we share real life issues and we discuss matters relating to Tonight in Adult Conversations, we're profiling Simi's story. And Simi is talking to us about the fact that she and her boyfriend are very close in age. She's 24, her boyfriend is 25. They're both core members, but she's saying that now she's starting to see him as immature. And her friends are saying if she wants to marry early, she has to date someone that is not within her age. So she's saying, does the age matter? And I'm adding, does the perceived immaturity matter as well? What are your thoughts? Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Comrade.
Hello? Thank you because I'm calling back.
Okay.
Majority can be learned by what you see, what you read, the interaction with your friends, the organization, what you're informed, what they're watching, can give you majority. And you remove primitive character and inform majority. So it can be learned. Thank you very much.
Hmm. Okay, thank you, comrade. All right. So, do you share the same point of view, or do you have a contrary point of view? Now, again, if this is your reality, I always ask this because you never really know who's listening and who has been through this before, who has walked in these shoes before. You never really know, and it's important that if they have, it would be very beneficial to the person whose profile was, whose story we're profiling, and that at the moment that is Simi Tamant. So it would be very beneficial to Simi if she can actually hear from someone who is in a marriage, and I say marriage now because it's marriage is aspirational for a lot of ladies. So if she's talking about marrying at an early age and all of that, then that means she's looking to get married, and she's looking to get married early. She's 24 now, so now would be a good time, according to her, probably that to get married would be just in the right position right now. It would be just in the right space to get married. She wants to get married early, apparently, from all what she's saying. And she's concerned that they're too close in age and she's starting to see him as immature. So if you're in a relationship or in a long term relationship or in a marriage, if you're already married to someone who is very close in age with you as well, tell us what your experience was like when you were dating and one or two things that Simi can learn from that. She's talking about immaturity and the age factor. So you can link both and give Simi some advice. So at this point, we need Simi to understand certain things, and your story, if you have any, would be beneficial to her to learn from. All right. So, but this also goes to people who do not necessarily share the same story or share the same experience. You may know someone who knows someone who knows someone, or you may have heard about something, and of course, you may have, you know, learned one or two things in the course of your life that gives you a certain point of view. So share and let Simi gain some some insight, so to speak. Let Simi gain some insight into her story. Whew, okay, so today is a tricky one. And the reason is tricky, the major reason is tricky. It's not really age factor. It's not really the age factor. It's more of the perceived immaturity and the fact that we're not really sure exactly what she means when she says that. All right, so I'll take this one from Mercy from Ogba. Mercy says, good evening, ma. Fam, my advice to see me as a lady, please, there are different sides to these kind of issues. When it comes to relationship maturity, when it comes to relationship, maturity stands same as it relates to age. But don't let third party influence your decisions, deeds, and mostly thoughts. When you feel your man is not acting manly enough to deal with issues, or maybe you feel he's immature because the behaviors you want to perceive in him is not what he's exhibiting, if it's on the negative side, shy away and let your man be your man. Don't expose him. He is who he is. Just let him be and stay to enjoy. Okay? Enjoy. All right. Okay, Comrade is saying, yes, maturity can be learned by interaction. All right. I'll take that. Thank you very much. Okay, back to the WhatsApp group now. Remember that you can keep your messages coming in on WhatsApp. You can also send text messages to the same number, to the same WhatsApp number, 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. You can now call, you can keep calling the number 07000 All right. So this one is coming in from YO from Ikeja. YO says, depending on what you want in life, marrying your age group is not an issue. Maturity, on the other hand, is important. Given the fact that both of you just left school, and if probably you had both enjoyed heavy financial support and protection from life's realities throughout life till date from your parents, there may be some level of immaturity at display. Outside the campus, you guys will now face reality and have to be equipped to run the real race of life. Those who say you should not marry you, those who say you should not marry your age mate may not be totally correct. Who says he cannot get a job immediately and be doing better than those who have been in market for years? But on the other divide, he may not be so lucky to become financially stable early. So settling down will become a big issue because of finance. Now, what is important? Maturity, life's goal, compatibility, and shared values plus love make a great majority. And she says, this is your choice from here. And that's from YO from Ikeja. Hmm. Very detailed and straight to the point. I like that. Thank you very much for sending in that message. Now, YO highlighted some of the things I said earlier about the fact that is it that you work in a better PPA than him, and for the benefit of those who don't know, PPA when you're talking about youth service would be your primary place of assignment. That's where you've been posted to work. A lot of times people do it in schools, but that's not the case. That's not the case as much anymore. People go to all sorts of sectors to do their youth service. So in this case, it could be, or could it be? Let me pose it as a question. Could it be that um, Simi works in a better place and she has been privileged to meet people of a different class, who have different interests, who have more focus in their goals and in their dreams. And now she feels like her boyfriend doesn't quite measure up. Could this be the case? What do you think? And what is your advice? Simi's actual question is, does the age matter? Does the age matter? That's what she's asking. But you remember that when you're answering that, remember to link it to the fact that she's starting to see him as immature. Hello, good evening. Good evening. Please turn down the volume of your radio.
All right.
Okay, what's your name?
Okay, this is General Moscow.
General Moscow. Good evening.
Yes.
Thank you for calling.
Right. See, in this life,
You what to say?
hello,
Please
hello.
go ahead. I can hear you.
Okay, see this life, understanding different and maturity different. You understand me?
Hmm.
Hello.
Please go ahead. I'm with you. I'm with you. Please go ahead.
So, okay. See this life, understanding different and maturity different. And the important thing in husband and wife, just to show themselves love. If you love there, forget maturity. That's my own advice there.
Oh, okay. Just to clarify, General Moscow, they talk say if love day, maturity no
Yes,
day important.
yes.
Hmm. So if
If you love there, maturity.
if the
But, huh?
if the guy and the girl love each other, but
Yes,
the guy they act a certain way when it comes to certain issues because they don't get the kind of maturity way that kind issue take to resolve them. Not be say they don't
yes,
love each other, they love each other. It just be
yes,
say when it comes to that kind of thing, the guy know to understand
yes,
waiting they up for that kind of thing. So you know to they mature to work on that situation as the thing they happen. So where do
yes.
they meet at that point? Because if it's a critical issue that requires a certain level of maturity to handle, and he fails to handle it at that level, and it costs, a lot going forward, or it's a turning point in their relationship, what happens then?
See, okay, sorry, I'm calling back. I'm calling back. Now, let me put somebody on my door.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. Okay, so love, maturity, are they mutually exclusive or not? What I mean by that is, do they have to go hand in hand, or can one supersede the other? Do they have to go hand in hand, or can one supersede the other? Can there be love without necessarily having maturity, linked to it? Or can there be maturity without necessarily having love? What do you think about that? Anyway, while we answer that, let us also answer Simi's question. Okay, she's saying, does the age matter? Does this perceived immaturity, does it matter? Does it matter? So what do we think at this point? Let me just say, does age matter? Does maturity matter? Let me just leave it that way. Because if I keep saying perceived immaturity, it might seem that it might come off as invalidating Simi's point of view, which I do not know where that came from. I don't know what prompted her to say, oh, I'm starting to see him as immature. But I cannot deny the fact that that's what's in the story. So that's valid. So I'm just going to say, does age matter? Does maturity matter? What are your thoughts on that? She's asking, and that's what she wants to know. She's 24, her boyfriend is 25. They are both core members. Now, it's also important to know where each of them serves. Of course, I don't mean specific organization. I mean, what sector do they work in? Is he working in a school while she works at a bank? Or is he working at a bank while she works at a public school or a private school? What could be the situation there with that? Is money playing any kind of role in this? When she says maturity, I'm starting to see him as immature. What does that really mean? Plus, what role um, do we say her friends play in this subject? Because she's saying very clearly in her story that her friends, let me read that verbatim. She says her friends think she shouldn't date someone within her age range if she plans to marry early. Hmm. If she plans to marry early, and that's the concern of the friends, according to the story now. Now, on some level, I think this is logical. This is very understandable. If we've both just left school and I'm looking to get into a steady relationship that will potentially lead to marriage, to a large extent, I'm not looking to be in a relationship with somebody who's my age mate because we literally both left uni at the same time. Yes, we cannot eliminate the fact that he could get a job tomorrow, rise up the ranks really, really quickly, and in 2 years, he's making crazy money and they can settle down then. There's no denying that that's possible. But the reality that Nigerians face doesn't quite tilt towards that direction. And if you're 25, are you already actively thinking about marriage as a guy? As a guy of 25 years, are you already actively thinking about marriage? So the fact that her friends say that if you want to marry early, you can't date somebody within your age range, is that wrong? Is that wrong of them to say? Is that wrong of them to say? Because what's what her friends say have a way of influencing what Simi thinks. So is that wrong of them to say? What do you think about that? What do you think about that? Do you think her friends were wrong for saying that? Do we think that's true or do we think that's not true? What do we think about this 20 minutes past 10? Oh yeah, with my radio Jabi FM 91.7. This is still adult conversations. So there's quite a number of things to consider in this story. The age, the fact that Simi starting to look at him as immature is worrisome to her. And then the fact that her friends are also involved here because they're saying that if you want to marry early, we need to marry. Pardon me, they're saying if you want to marry early, you need to marry outside your age range. So um they're indirectly advising her to leave this guy for someone who's older, maybe has more money, maybe more accomplished, maybe more refined, maybe more educated, maybe who already wants to settle down. Uh, um, are at this point that they've made to see me, that's what they're getting from them. So when they say, oh, if you want to get married early, I don't think it's wise to date somebody within your age range and you're already in a relationship with someone who is of your age range. That makes you wonder, oh, so does that mean I cannot marry this guy because he's not within my age range? Or what do we mean exactly? So, what are your thoughts on this? All right, this one is coming in from, okay, you didn't say where you're sending your message from. Please put your name and where your message, where you're sending your message from. Put your name and your location, please. Just put your name and your location. All right. So let me quickly read this one. This one's coming in from Comrade, but before that, let me take this call. Hello, good evening. All right. If you can call back, kindly do. Hello, good evening. Hello. All right. Again, if you can call back, please do that. Okay, so Comrade is saying, so the guy not having money, which is what I'm saying. Is it what the lady might be insinuating? Or has she watched the long terms and dreams? Sometimes you are too much shy, or thank you so much for that. He said, I suspect that goals and dreams, long term goals, which the lady might be aiming, and the guy is not thinking that side. Maybe. And I'll say, yes, with love, you can learn maturity. And over maturity can even scatter love. Okay. I didn't see that one coming. That one threw me back a little bit. Okay, he says over maturity can scatter love. Hmm. So I've seen a too disciplined man like that. Anytime he's coming back, it would be like a place to want to shoot dynamite. Okay, it says sometimes I love your intelligence. I'm suspecting long-term goals, as you said. All right. Well, so that could be the case. That could be the case. Again, if this is your reality, or you know anyone who has been in this space before in their lives, what contributed to this and how was it resolved? Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for calling. Please, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Moses
Moses, where are you
from
calling
Ogun State,
from?
Abadan.
Agbado. Moses, I need you to turn down the volume of your radio. I can hear that feedback and I don't like it.
Alright.
Have you done that?
Yes,
Are you sure?
yes.
Okay, great. Please go ahead and tell me what your advice to Simi
Okay.
is.
You come on. Well, I'm a married man already.
If you don't marry, you won't marry Simi before.
Uh, no, let's say because what the power to let's see I'm married now. Okay.
We are not. But Simi don't marry
Uh,
Nana. I mean, you don't marry. Okay, please go ahead.
um, okay. If I want to marry, I can marry for my own side. Though.
Yes.
I can marry person I used 2 years, 2 years, 3 years. I would like to build that.
Hmm.
So I let them build up like 5 years. Few of us cannot go the same time because our prayer is to say husband and wife to hold so that let the children know better of mother and father. When say maybe two of us can't hold at the same time, start 25, 26, Lord, I'm not the same age. I'm not the same age.
Hmm.
So no, I'm not support that. So understand because both age is coming. When you say one, maybe one person wants to drink water, the other one will have both will stand up and go and drink water.
Hmm.
Let me say two of them both.
But
Water got the hungry this one. Nobody can drink water. No, no, no. I'm not support this
but,
type
but
of
but but
this
Moses,
to
you
marry.
see, say this age thing, it go shock you.
Yes,
Say get as to take the bill. Somebody where you
yes,
look the person, think the person say the person are 24, you self
yes.
24 or 25. It go shock you. Say
Mm,
in another 10 years, one of those two people will be 24, 24 or 24, 25. It could be like the person will
mm,
be 25 can't resemble that 25. The guy never really old like that. Maybe if he old, just be like 30. But then the other person, if let's even say both of them are man, the 24, the guy will be 24, will come they look like say in be 40 and at the same around the same age than be.
yes,
So wetin they try talk, they say this age thing they did different for each person. So the fact say husband 25, wife 24. Now one no matter. Oh, they feel old now. You go shock you. Say husband will be 25, go young past the woman because of what you are eating, your healthy lifestyle, all of that.
Mhm.
It is important too now. I'll be waiting. Think.
Yes, it's very important. But for me, I would like to give that.
Okay. So, but for this case where they answer now, for this Simi case, you think say may Simi leave and marry another person way old pass am since the guy na
Yes,
25, she na 24.
yes, I think the 3 4 years gap is okay. Maybe say they come marry over age.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
think 4 years different. 4 years is okay for me or for my own side.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well,
Like my wife, and I even later why they found wife. I just see the first one you see is the senior. So you just find two people. Everything with my need, the yeah have it. But I know when I just know the day, I didn't run so end of the year, see my wife now 5 years different.
hmm.
And this is
Okay.
what I want. You know, so everyone is no what is one. So that's my own.
All
Okay.
right. Thank you so much, Moses. Well done. Thank
All
you.
right.
Okay, so Moses is saying, in his own opinion, he would rather marry somebody who is 4 to 5 years younger than he is. He said he doesn't want to marry somebody that's 2 years younger or 1 year younger. He'd rather go 4, 5 years younger. He's saying this is in a bid not to get old at the same time. He doesn't want to be 60 and then his spouse will be 62, or he'll be 62, his spouse will be 60, and then both of them age just around, you know, they'll age at the same pace. Yeah, that's it. They'll age at the same pace. So he doesn't really want that. He wants them to age with a little bit of gap, so that when one person is weak, the other person will still be relatively strong to at least get some things done in the meantime. And of course, when the first person dies, the other person can still, be around. So yes, but that's what he's saying. So in respect to Simi's story, he's saying that Simi should leave this guy and marry somebody who is about 3, 4 years, 3, 4, 5 years older than she is, rather than marry this guy who is 1 year older than she is. All right, 10:30 on your Women Radio, WFM 91.7. And if you're just joining, this is Adult Conversations on your Women Radio, WFM 91.7. My name is Sumfe Titilayo Ajama. And of course, this is Adult Conversations where we share real life issues and um, and matters relating to the heart. We discuss real life issues and share matters relating to the heart. Now, today we're talking about Simi and her story. Simi is telling us that she is 24, her boyfriend is 25. They are both core members. So, again, what this means is that they're both in the same level in life. Now, a lot of times, okay, let me finish the story. Simi has been dating this her boyfriend from university days. So they started out in university, graduated probably around the same time, and now they're both serving. They're both serving. So she's saying she's starting to see him as immature. She's starting to see him as immature, and her friends are saying that if she wants to get married early, she should marry somebody that is not within her age range. So she's saying, does the age matter or does maturity matter? All right, so please give Simi some advice so at least she can decide on what steps to take at this point. Give us some advice if you've been in these shoes before, or if you know one or two things that would assist in her situation. Please give us some advice and let her be able to make her decision at the end of the day. The number to call to contribute is 07000 And of course, you can send in a text or a WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, thank you for calling.
Okay, this is General Motto.
Okay, General Moscow, you're calling back. All right, you have like 1 minute.
Yes. Okay. See, yeah, for my own understanding, the sex is not good for marriage will use one opinion. Just no single respect. because one day, man of the house for the holla, why do you do this? Why do you do this? The woman will tell him this and this. So maybe the man can use him and say, no, you don't come to me. The woman go say, yes, how many years you take you only this and this? No. You're not supposed to do like that. So that's what supposed to get.
Okay, so are you saying that if there's gap now, the woman won't be able to challenge him?
No, no matter how much we have respect, we have a respect. But
But I mean, regardless of the gap, if then go get fight
yes,
one day, the woman go talk her mind, the man too go talk in mind. So
yes,
whether or not the gap they even if they like say make them get 10-year gap, because they've lived together for a long time, because they've known each other on a certain level, because there's a marriage, there's love, maybe children. So they don't already pass that level of you're 10 years older, I'm so age. There's a level of familiarity already. So regardless of the
yes,
age, there will still always be a point where she would challenge him, he would challenge her, and it will still be perceived as disrespect regardless. So does that really
yes.
matter?
It's matter, but that is, I like to give that.
Is that
I
you
like to
or
give
that's
that.
just the African in you? That's your African mindset. Because maybe no lie.
Because,
Now for this our side with the reason that kind of thing. Most of the time it's really not
yes,
really
that's actually,
exactly. So that's what I'm
no, no,
saying. Is that really your thinking or that's your thinking because of the African culture that we're used to on this side?
yes, yes.
Okay.
And
Well, that's fine. That's
a
fine.
lot of it, okay.
That's actually fine. It's okay if that's what you're thinking. But I'm just trying to point out the fact that it's not necessarily going to go away because the person is older, that the woman will not challenge him, so to speak, and all of that. So even if the woman is older, I mean, there will still be a situation where we will say, oh, the man of the house will be man of the house and all of that. There should be mutual respect. Man, respect your wife, respect your man. Simple. Even if they are 21 and 21 on the same birthday, as long as this is the person you've chosen to be your partner in life, you should have mutual respect for the person. The person should respect you. You should respect them actively as well. Not be respect by mouth, so like you really respect them. It shows in the way you talk to them. Even when they play safe, it gets as your play till they be, because you know that if handshake pass elbow, I be had them so if it gets as they say the talk and make a reason that thing first. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Good evening. Thank you for
Uh,
calling.
yeah, my name is Benny and I'm calling from Niger.
Your name again, please.
Benny and
Ferdinand. Okay, that's a really nice name. Ferdinand. Okay, thank you for calling. All right, you're calling
Niger,
from Magboro.
Niger,
Oh,
Niger,
from
Niger.
Ogba. All right, thank you so much. Is this your first time
Okay,
of calling, Ferdinand?
yeah, I think the problem there is that we begin to face the idea of life.
Hmm.
The idea of life from my own angle is the man, to some extent, should actually be older than the wife, even though it's not compulsory. Then, I'm talking about African context or African context or Nigerian context. But when
Okay.
you look at it
Okay.
from that angle, you discover that where we are, women age faster in Africa here.
Uh,
I
is
don't
that
know. I don't know how
statistically
it happened.
proven?
No, I don't know how it happened, but I know that they do more jobs than men. And I know some men will attack me, but that is true. Some of them go to
Okay.
work.
Okay. Go ahead. Go
They
ahead.
some of them go to work. They come back. They do the house job and all that. Some men don't even contribute at all in the house job. Some men, I have a couple of friends that don't. When you tell them, I job that, they say, no, no, no. What would I cook when I have a wife? You see, sometimes it happens like that. You do this, you do that, but at the end of the day, you see them very older. And when you talk about relationship, it's all about you and you.
Mm-hmm.
You are together, you are doing this together, you are in this together. Yes, somebody may tell you that there's no respect and whatever. Of course, by the time time you agree to marry somebody, you may have ironed that before and all that. So I don't think that. So even if you get married at 28, that if she's not expecting that, you still not respect you. That is just like your time. So the reality there is that she has moved around. She sees some people and she now believes that loophole. If I marry this guy, it may not work well for me. Except if I'm too lucky. Well, how can you be lucky among the 200? So you don't know whether you are one of them. So that's just that the edge is none of them. That's my
Okay. Thank you, Ferdinand. Okay, so this is 22 minutes to 11. Excuse me. Pardon me, 22 minutes to 11 on Your Women Radio, WFM 91.7. And of course, this is Adult Conversations. I'm going to take some messages and go back to the phone lines. Um, okay, so Comrade was talking earlier about this over disciplined man, where he said over maturity can scatter love. So he continued saying he told the over disciplined man to soft pedal and stop being over oibo. His wife doesn't have wahala. She does all the man wanted, but the man doesn't like her. The man doesn't like her true calmness. Until the man came to her level, they started talking and staying together, the wife started loving him back. So he's saying, so is there love? What General Moscow said will not come to play. That maturity the lady is saying too. For me, I don't care for age. All right, so maturity is more important. Okay, got it. He's saying, oh, guy, I cook on Saturdays, mop and dust everywhere. My wife respects me more when I do work my heart. Okay, thank you for that. All right, James God alone NSE from Ikorodu is saying, well, to tell you the truth, okay, this is a really long message. I'm just going to read through it really fast and I'm not going to read everything. So pardon me, James. I'm not going to read everything. This is a really long message. All right, he says, I used to think it wasn't important, but I found out a few months ago that it is. For Nigerian women, age is a huge thing. Some of them will not want to date anyone younger, plus the fact that it has been shown that women develop much faster than men emotionally. So if a woman is dating a 3 to 5 years older guy than her, or a guy 3 to 5 years older than her, then they're probably at the same stage when it comes to emotional. Going out with a much younger guy, she has the advantage of being more emotionally mature. But he says, I think all that is not true. People should be able to date regardless of age, but a guy should only marry a girl younger than he is. I mean, you just contradicted yourself, James. Okay, and so he adds that steps to emotional maturity. Eliminates magical thinking. Impossible if she's Pentecostal or charismatic. What does that even mean? Learn to tolerate your anxiety. Says women are always anxious about everything. Learn to recognize and appropriately express your anger, especially if you see him kiss another girl. Learn to cope with pain and hurt. He going out with his friends only and doesn't invite you. Facing your guilty feelings. Having that chocolate or ice cream which you know you should not have eaten. Learn to live with your failures, not ever getting that sexy boy. Put your feelings in perspective. Cannot happen since women usually cry a lot. Okay, so James, a lot of the content in this message, I had to read it out so that people would hear it for what you sent. This sounds hugely judgmental and very misogynistic. So it sounds like you're saying that women do not have the capacity to be emotionally mature when it comes to relationship, or it sounds like there are lots of things they need to work on, and you're not pointing out anything that the guy needs to work on. For instance, you said learn to recognize and appropriately express your anger, especially if you see him kiss another girl. If the guy sees her kiss another guy, would you advise him to be emotionally, astute and properly express his anger? Would you ask him to do that? Would it matter to you at that point? I mean, you said learn to tolerate your anxiety because women are always anxious about everything and men are not. I feel like men are even worse. because they don't get the chance to talk to as many people about their anxieties. Doesn't mean that the anxiety doesn't exist. So, James, we need to revamp that, okay? Please, you need to keep listening to adult conversations. You learn a lot, actually. All right. So, Emeka Okoro from Shomolu is saying, good evening, Ma. Relatively, age is not maturity because there are some people who are advanced in age but can't handle life issues with maturity. Indeed, maturity comes through growth, knowledge, exposure, experience, learning, and unlearning. Moreover, maturity cuts across so many factors. So, for a lady who wants to embark on a marital journey, he or she must be mature emotionally, spiritually, financially, societally, okay, socially, mentally, and otherwise. But for the lady in question, what are the characters that the guy is exhibiting that makes her think that he's not mature? All right, good question, Yamika. I asked as well, but we didn't get any response. So, hopefully, we just give her rounded advice that she can still take and apply to her life and it will work for her, hopefully. All right, so off of Facebook now, Olawale Peter Iron is saying it doesn't matter. Don't allow peer pressure of friends to dictate your life for you. Follow your mind. Austin Patrick is saying, why exactly did you start this relationship? What was the purpose? There was no definitive goal. So if you want to leave, do so and let him move on with his life. Benjaz is saying, according to your words, that if you want to marry early, you should not date your mate. He says, absolutely true. Because this guy in a copper, 26, before you look for job, work, save, get your own apartment, they finally want to marry. Time go don't go at least another 5 years. Unless the guy is born with a silver spoon or God day inside and he blows within 2 years. My advice is this according to Igbo adage, use your tongue to count your teeth. Hmm, interesting. All right, this one is coming from Erico Victor Abodori. It says, marry within your social circle, marry your friend. After God, you're in charge of your life. Okay, Nnabuife Ifoma is saying, my dear, don't leave him. There's nothing wrong with being with someone within your age bracket. Trust me, to find a good single person out there is so difficult. Pretenders and cheaters everywhere. If you're both doing fine, please go on and forget what your friends are saying. Ikigwe Brenda Steve is saying, those your friends are jealous of you, please know that. Oh, what if they're not? Olujake Aramu says, oh, I can't read that out loud. No, we can't. Prince Joshua says, do you want to marry someone within the age of your parents? Age is just a number. What matters is the love and respect. Oluwaseun Emmanuel says, continue listening to your friend. Continue listening to your friend. Leave him while they grab him. Oh, come on. Okay, so these are some of the messages that we have off of Facebook, and most of them are really tilting towards the direction that age really doesn't matter, and that she should make this decision for herself. She should not just leave because her friends are saying so. That's what most of them are saying. So thank you. You can still keep your messages coming in. I'll definitely read them as we go on. This is 15 minutes to 11 on Your Women Radio, WFM 91.7. So, Simi is still asking for your advice. Do you think the age of her boyfriend matters? Do you think the age difference between her and her boyfriend, do you think it matters? And do you think that maturity in their relationship matters as well? And I ask this because she's saying, I'm starting to see him as immature. Again, we don't know why, but this is what she's saying, and we have to respect it. We have to understand it, and we have to profile it, just the way she has said it. So she didn't say why, but she did say that she's starting to see him as immature. So, what are your thoughts on this? Um, husband and wife close in age, is that a good thing or a bad thing, or does it even matter? Does it even matter? Does the age matter, or does maturity matter more? Does maturity even matter? Because General Moscow said maturity doesn't even matter as long as there's love. So that tells you that there are people with vast opinions about this, differential opinions about it. So it you may think that maturity does matter, but General Moscow doesn't think so as long as there's love. So, what are your thoughts about this? What are your thoughts? Yes, I want to hear from you. Yes, you that's listening to me right now. You can call in just call in and give your advice to Simi. If you don't want to pick up the phone and make that call, you can always send a text or a WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. So it's imperative that Simi understands where each person is coming from when they give their advice. This will help her put into perspective all these pieces of advice when she's thinking about the story later on. The reason I say so is um, if there's no context to why she should stay with the guy, she might not really understand. So if you're calling in and you're saying, I think she should just stay with him. It doesn't matter whether or not they're the same age or whether or not they're close in age. She needs to know why you said so. You know, is this a belief system? Is this just you thinking this because of what you believe or because of what you've experienced? So give her some context. And of course, more importantly, give her some advice. Give her some advice. She needs this advice because she needs to make a decision. She needs to know what her next move would be. So call in and give us some advice. Again, 07000 917 917. That's the number to call. 07000 917 917. You can also send in a text or a WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. So, for the benefit of those who don't know or who are just joining us newly on the show, Simi is 24. She's 24. Her boyfriend is 25, not 26, he's 25. And they are both core members. They are both serving our beautiful country of Nigeria. So basically, they're on the same level. Now, somebody did say, except he's born with a silver spoon. So if he's a rich kid, a lot of this process, a lot of the timeline can be, sped up, can be sped up. So it doesn't necessarily have to go through everything phase by phase, phase by phase. It can be sped up, and then things would, feel differently or look differently. All right, let me not talk too much. Let me just stay on the point that she wants to know if the age matters or if maturity matters as well. Okay, so this one is coming from Damish from Opebi Ikeja. He says, this is about the heart. If she loves and understands the guy, and the guy feels the same way about her, and if she thinks she can tolerate the guy, then the age doesn't matter because it's just a number. All right. Thank you for sending that in. Maturity and love matter most because age is definitely a number. All right. I just read that. I don't know who sent it in. Okay. So, yes, age is just a number. And a lot of the time we hear that assertion that it shouldn't really matter. Um, it shouldn't really matter what age you claim, as long as you're smart, you're intellectually capable, then you can get your job done and do whatever it is that you should do. Companies will not necessarily hire you because you're young. They will hire you because they know you can bring something to the table. So why is that different when it comes to age? Why is age such a criteria? And does it such a criterion rather? And does it even matter? Does it even matter? And bear in mind that this doesn't even matter that she's asking. Does the age matter that she's asking now? It is it's in reference to the fact that her friends are saying that if she wants to get married early, she needs to marry somebody who is not in her age bracket. Again, I think it goes back to finance. Because if we're both on the same level now, in another 5 years, we most probably would still be in the same level. But we never really know what time will bring. But at the same time, um, it's a slippery slope when you look at it critically. It's a slippery slope. But regardless of the situation, it's one that Simi definitely need advice on. So thank you all for sending in your advice, for calling, for sending text and messages and WhatsApp messages, for also sending Facebook messages. Thank you so much. And I definitely appreciate you for joining the conversation tonight. So I can take one last call before I go. One last call. So if that person is you, if that caller is you, just let me know so that we can, you know, you can work on the situation. So again, a huge thank you. Again, a huge thank you. And I'm sure that Simi appreciates every single advice that has been given to her tonight. The reason I wanted somebody who has lived through this before would be to give Simi some a leverage of understanding. Like, oh, this person has been through this. I can relate to this person. If I have maybe any questions at all, I can run it by this person and all of that. So um it is important to note that she and her boyfriend, that's Simi and her boyfriend now, are in a relationship that they have had since uni, in a relationship that they've been sustaining since uni. So maybe it's a habit thing. Maybe there's something he's been doing that she doesn't like. But regardless of all of that, we have received all your advice and Simi has heard it. I hope she has. Also, join me again. Join me again tomorrow, same time, same station, on Your Women Radio WFM 91.7. And I'm going to round off with Simi will be able to take an informed decision off of all the advice that you've given. And it's also important to know that when we give advice, let us consider other people who are listening that are not the person who is giving the advice. So once again, thank you so much. And thank you to my producer, Taiwo Adeleye, my engineer on duty, Cephas, and my name is Sumto Titilayo Ajama. Enjoy your night. Anybody will fight, let them come there already know. I'll be right beside you. As the world on charity. They don't know, they don't know, they don't know what's going on. I'll be a soldier for you. I'm getting better in Kung Fu. You should know I got you. And you don't need to got me too. They don't know in everything that you do. And if you ever get saved, running, 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 running to you. I'll be running to you, running, running, running to you. Anywhere that you go to, running, running, running to you. I'll be running to you, running, running, running to you. Anywhere that you go to. Thank you, Jesus. Cause I know that I love you. When you confess everybody go home, and it's because of your control. I know this time that I'm out of control. You never let go. Just let it go. That's it, so that's it, so my baby. See what the promise you'll be fighting, and I'll be right there with you. I let it go, but I'm rising, and I go run and go. And anybody with something that don't feel good and I be around. And forever you say, I will be running. Running, running, running to you. I'm running to you. Running, running, running. Anywhere that you go. Running, 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 running. I'm running to you. Running, running, running. Anything you want to say, Tell me what you want. You wanna be the Jews, you wanna be the Pharaoh. Me, I cannot play low, no. Me, I cannot do that.
You're listening to the voice of women. It's not just talk, but it will take you. We play everything and we play them better.
Your mama say, no follow, I never know. Make you find correct guy. No be love, go to. Now me she dey talk about. Ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn ká mi lára o. Ẹ ń bẹ́sẹ̀ mi sọ̀rọ̀. Make I go. I want to take care of you, baby. So just know I won't be long. I want to take care of you, baby. So just know nobody will know me. You're about to fight with you. I don't want my own. Nothing but the shot you know. You only better. You're about to fight with you. If I go there, don't forget how I will go. Baby, you only better.
You know my heart is breaking because you wanna be one. Make you hustle, every fire, but no follow Bella. She can't love you, girl. You want to take care of me, baby. Oh, yeah, my love, and she can tell me. Oh, my God. Don't give me too long, baby. You're a power, baby. You're gonna hold my love. Just in my baby, I need my phone. You're a power, baby. You want it, boy. Don't forget that's where we go, baby.